Let's tell you a secret the world doesn't want you to know. We know who Batman is. It's Ronnie Coleman, and this is his story. His story is a journey of lack, wealth, influence, trophies, respect, and superhuman strength. It is the story of how Ronnie Coleman went from being jobless and average to being an illuminating force to be reckoned with in the world. How Coleman went from the average man working in a Domino pizzeria to becoming 8 Mr. Olympia titles. And this is also a story of how he lost it all. Subscribe if you want to be as disciplined as Ronnie, and let us know who you want to see next in Who Is.
Early life and career beginnings.
Ronnie Dean Coleman, popularly known as Ronnie Coleman, was born in Monroe, Louisiana on May 13, 1964. He attended Grambling State University studying accounting and graduated with distinction in 1984. Ronnie stood out while he was in the university. He was an energetic, passionate, and athletic man. He played football, holding the position of a middle linebacker with the Grambling State Tigers, and his coach then was none other than the Hall of Fame, Eddie Robinson. Under him, he had an incredible career. For Ronnie, everything pointed to a bright future, but what happened next stunned him. After graduation, he failed to find work and instead went to work at Domino's Pizza. Ronnie was so poor he could barely afford to eat outside of work. His job allowed him to eat complimentary pizza every day. Things were hopeless for Ronnie. Then he got a job. Ronnie became a police officer, and he dedicated himself to serving and protecting the people in Arlington, Texas. Ronnie worked as an officer from 1989 to 2000 and a reserve officer until 2003. As an officer, Ronnie kept his eyes open for other opportunities to leave the policing job. Then, it happened. Coleman's fellow officer Gustavo Arlada suggested he attend the Metroflex gym, which was owned by amateur bodybuilder Brian Dobson. On seeing him, Dobson offered to train Ronnie. Ronnie rejected the offer because he could not afford the gym membership. Dobson wasn't ready to take no as an answer. He made another offer Ronnie couldn't refuse. Dobby told Ronnie that he would get a lifetime free membership, but there was a catch. Coleman had to allow Dobby train him for the then upcoming 1990 Mr. Texas bodybuilding competition. Ronnie accepted the offer and started training. His enthusiasm and passion shone. Ronnie felt alive. He won first place in both the heavyweight and overall categories, defeating Dobson himself in the competition. And so, guys, a legend was born.
The road to Mr. Olympia.
Ronnie began to compete in bodybuilding competitions and won his first Mr. Olympia in 1998, 8 years after the 1990 Mr. Texas bodybuilding competition. Let's rewind things a bit before Ronnie won the first Mr. Olympia. You see, Ronnie has always been a competitive soul with a drive to be the best. However, for some reason, Ronnie didn't care about winning Mr. Olympia for a long time. People told him he could take on the participants of Mr. Olympia. Still, Ronnie wasn't interested. Then, he changed his mind. In 1992, Ronnie started training to take on the Mr. Olympia competition. During that same year, he got on the stage and realized something. People lied to him. He couldn't take on the other participants yet. When asked about this competition, Ronnie said,
"Well, I can remember like it was yesterday. I was backstage warming up. I'm sitting there doing my little bit of curve, and I look over to see Sean Ray over in the corner doing push-ups against the wall, and I'm like, wow, I'm in the wrong league. These guys are ripped and shredded."
Ronnie suffered a humiliating loss. He came last. That was all he needed. When other people feel sad after a loss, Ronnie felt motivated. By 1994, Ronnie was back on the stage, putting on more muscle, looking much more shredded. This was as a result of heavy lifting and a lot of eating. A lot of eating. Despite putting on more muscles, he still lost. This soon became a cycle. He would get bigger than he was the last year, hoping to win the current year, but still lose. He trained harder every year but could never secure a break. After these consecutive losses, he went to meet Dorian, a six-time Mr. Olympia who retired in 1997. Ronnie trained with Dorian for the 1998 Mr. Olympia, and that was when he won. Mastery in any kind of sport requires something more than passion. It requires dedication, discipline, hard work, and a strong work ethic. This was what Ronnie gave his bodybuilding career. He lifted heavy, then heavier and heaviest. He pushed himself to the limits, and his hard work resulted in him being a record-breaking 8 Mr. Olympia.
Challenges and setbacks.
Ronnie won the Mr. Olympia title back-to-back for 8 years between 1998 and 2007. It was a piece of cake for him considering his extremely rigorous training. But there's one thing about going to the extreme, and Ronnie was about to find out what it was. Back in 1996, Coleman was all about those hardcore squatting sessions, pushing himself to the limit. But then, disaster struck. Coleman had a herniated disc. Did he rush to the hospital? Nope, he toughed it out. Big mistake. That decision changed his whole life. His spine took a beating, along with his back, shoulder, hips, and neck, all thanks to him doing things to the extreme. Then came the surgeries, 13 of them. Can you imagine? 2 hip replacements later, plus loads of other treatments, and the pain was still there. If anything, those surgeries made things worse. Poor Coleman lost most of his get-up-and-go attitude. It was no longer, yeah, buddy. It was now, ouch, buddy. Tough break for a bodybuilding legend. These operations left Ronnie using crutches and bound to a wheelchair, which has now become the only way to move around comfortably. The fascinating part is that despite the setbacks, Ronnie is still a titan in the bodybuilding world. He still goes to the gym regularly and is greatly invested in passing his knowledge down to the next generation of bodybuilders.
Life after competition.
Ronnie is an influential man who has touched the lives of people on a global scale. His impact can be felt globally across the world of bodybuilding and fitness. After an illustrious career with a record number of 8 Mr. Olympia titles, Ronnie Coleman retired from professional competition in 2007. His departure from competition marked the beginning of a new chapter. Many bodybuilders now have the shot at winning the Mr. Olympia, but his legacy and influence on the sport remain unchanged till today. After multiple surgeries, when asked about the effects, Ronnie said,
"All the hardware kind of interferes with the nerves. I used to be able to bend over and do all these crazy stretches. I can't do that anymore."
Right now, Ronnie is no longer vibrant. His health challenges are taking a toll on him. His years of extreme training, competing, and pushing his body to the limits at every chance he got have damaged him. Multiple surgeries and lengthy rehabilitation have limited his physical activities to the point that he has to use a wheelchair on long trips, but Ronnie remains positive and determined in his recovery. Well, he is not one to give up. We all have to keep moving for as long as we are alive. This is also true for Ronnie. Now that he can no longer compete, his life has evolved beyond the gym. Ronnie has embarked on various business ventures, including his successful supplement line, continuing his passion for fitness and health. Ronnie isn't just about physical health. He is also an advocate of spiritual health, as he is a devout Christian. He married Rueda Christine Achkar, a French-Lebanese trainer who he met at a sports expo in Paris back in 1998. Sadly, they divorced. But don't worry, love found him again. He said "I do" to Susan Williamson, an American personal trainer, on April 11, 2016. They're settled down in Arlington, Texas, with 4 children.
Legacy and philosophy.
Here are some lessons to be learned from Ronnie's life. The passionate bodybuilder believes greatly in hard work, and to Ronnie, it's the ultimate thing. After all, he lived in the gym, and his dedication and sweat got him to the top. Ronnie had reasons to give up, but he didn't. Life threw challenges at him, but what did he do? He bounced back stronger. Ronnie showed us that tough times don't last, but tough people do, and while you are at it, dream big and you'll achieve big. Ronnie dreamed big and chased those dreams until they were in his grasp. What will you do? However, no matter what you do, learn from Ronnie and put your he. He learned the hard way that muscles are great, but health is priceless. Don't be like Ronnie. Take care of our bodies, even when chasing your dreams. Don't be selfish with your ambitions. Be a source of inspiration. Ronnie's not just a bodybuilder. He's a walking motivation. His journey inspires folks everywhere to aim high and never settle. And lastly, be ready to make boss moves even when things stop going your way. When Ronnie's body turned on him, he found an alternative. He jumped into the business world, showing that muscles aren't the only thing he's got going on.
Outro.
Ronnie started as a poor guy out of university with no job but slowly accumulated wealth, influence, trophies, and respect. Ronnie has lost many things. He has lost his health, spent much of his money to doctors to restore his health, and would perhaps be broke if not for the fact that he has one thing he has held on to and refuses to lose: his influence and respect. Many of Ronnie's friends and opponents still talk about his exceptional attitude toward them. Thank you for watching our video. Do kindly subscribe to our channel for more. And which celebrity would you like us to discuss next in Who Is? Let us know in the comments.